Hey, I am your Pinterest priestess, Charisse Marie, and I am here to talk all things Pinterest and business. Because let's mix it up a little bit, shall we? Today, I want to talk to you about why you are probably not seeing success in your business. And I have a couple of reasons why that is probably happening to you. My deepest sympathies, if it is, I know how much it sucks. I have been there. It's terrible. It feels so personal, doesn't it? When our businesses aren't going well, we're like, what is wrong with me that I can't make this work? What am I doing wrong? Why me? Right? Why me? That is so often the question that we ask. Why me? Why am I sucking at this? Why can't I get this? Why can't I understand this? And I want you to hear that it's probably not you, except it is kind of you. Okay. So, one of the big things is not leveraging enough social media platforms. So, you've got your big one, Facebook. Everybody's on Facebook using it. You've got YouTube. Again, a lot of people are on YouTube, leveraging it. There's Instagram. There are like a billion people are on Instagram. It's not my jam at all, but a lot of people really like it. And then you've got the Twitter fanatics, and you've got the LinkedIn people, and you've got all of these things that are social media based. And in those spaces, you have to be on. You have to be engaged. You have to be responsive. You have to be proactive and reactive and all the things. And you cannot ever have an off day. You have to be exciting and interesting and in your face, just like this, all the time. But it can get a little exhausting, can't it? So what happens is we come out of the gate really strong, and then we pull back a little bit, and we get a little boring. We get a little less interesting to the people who could be our potential followers. And what happens is they tune us out. They're like, I don't want even to listen to this chick. She doesn't know what she's talking about. She's really boring me. No, we don't want to do that. We don't want to do that to our potential clients. We want to make them interested, curious, engaged. So one of the things that I like to do instead of boring people to death is pick and choose on social medias when and how I interact, and making sure that those interactions happen when I am feeling comfortable and confident and happy and excited to provide value to the people that I want to work with. Because at the end of the day, 90% of anything that you do, any work that you get, any clients that you attract, anything, 90% of that is done before they even get on the call with you, before they even consider working with you. It is building those relationships. And in building those relationships, you need to be an expert. You need to be engaging. You need to have a little bit of sparkle around you when it comes to the topic that you're talking about. I'll spit it out eventually. So what happens is you have a bad day, and then it slowly goes downhill, doesn't it? You get bored with it. You feel like, another one, and I'm not getting anywhere. Is it really making a difference? Am I really changing people's lives? And that can be incredibly frustrating, incredibly frustrating. I encourage you, if that's what you're feeling in this moment, to take a step back. And I'm squeaking my chair. I'm so excited. Take a step back and really ask yourself if you really want to spend that time on that platform doing all those things. If the answer is no, then don't do it. Give yourself permission to say no. And that's one thing that I learned from my life coaching days, is give yourself permission to do the things that feel good to you and to say no to the things that say no to you or that don't feel good to you. And the more that you do that, the more comfortable and confident you're going to feel about your life, period. Now, the next reason why you're probably not getting anywhere is because you're not super clear on who your target actually is. Now, I'm going to link up above me somewhere here the video that I did last week, which was all about why you need to chuck your client avatar forms in the garbage and just focus on their problem and how you help their problem. And when you do that, you make an energetic match with your people. And it's much easier for them to say yes, because you're pointing out their problems and they're raising their hand and saying, yes, I have that problem. And then you're providing them with a solution, which comes to my next thing, which is you really need to use Pinterest for this. whatever your niche is, Pinterest is a fantastic platform for doing exactly that. It helps you to say, is this you, in a really valuable way, and then provide that value, that answer, that quick hit solution that they can then say, ooh, if she's this good with her free stuff, or he's this amazing with his free stuff, imagine what his paid stuff is. Or maybe it is just paid stuff. Maybe you're an affiliate or you sell products or something, in which case your product might be the exact solution that your ideal client with that pain point has. Fantastic. But you really need to get specific with what their pain points are and with what their outcomes that they dream of are. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. Now, the next reason why you might not be getting the traction that you're dreaming of in your business is kind of surprising. Not asking. We always forget to ask. We forget to make that pitch, or we're uncomfortable and we don't want to make the pitch. So here's my pitch. I have a free roadmap for Pinterest, link down below. Go grab it. Or if you want to work with me, I've got a link for that too. Go book a call. Let's have a 30-minute conversation where I'll get you started on the right path. And then you can see if we're an energetic fit to work together. Awesome. So it doesn't have to be really uncomfortable. It doesn't have to be some big thing where you're in the middle of it and you're like, oh, I can't. How do I say this? Oh my God. So when you're in that process and you're like, okay, I need to pitch, I'm scared. Think of it this way. They have a problem. It is a bleeding neck problem. It is so bad for them right now. They are desperate for a solution. You, my dear, have the solution. When you give yourself permission to see it as, I am offering something, I'm not forcing you, I'm not being uncomfortable or weird about it. I'm just saying, I have the solution. You have a problem. I have the solution. And when you do that, you're inviting people in. I am a firm believer in invitation marketing, in attraction marketing, where you're not shouting from the rooftops and you're not being really in your face and gross about it, but where you're simply inviting people to have a conversation with you about your thing. And when you frame it as, I invite you to have a conversation, it makes it much easier to have that ask come out of your mouth, to have you write down, if you want my help, hook me up, hit me up. When you say it in more of a, I know you're hurting, I have an answer. And less of a, buy my thing, 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 buy my thing. Because nobody wants to hear it if you are buy my thinging. They really don't. They're like, ooh, who is this woman or this man, and why are they shouting at me? I don't want to buy their thing. I don't even know who them from Adam, and I don't have a clue what their thing is or how it can help me yet. So you have to ask, but you have to ask in a way that makes sense and feels good for you. Because if you don't, you're not going to ask, or it's not going to feel genuine. And both of those things, they suck. They really do. Now, the next one is not being clear in your copy. I see this a lot. I work with funnels. I work with people and their funnels when we're dealing with Pinterest, and I usually end up fixing their funnel well before I can even start to think about setting up their Pinterest account, because our funnels tend not to speak to the pain points that our potential clients actually have. We skip over this step. We don't list their pain web. We don't list their dream web. And those are two really important pieces that you have to have in order to know who you're speaking to, what language they're speaking, how I need to talk about their solution, their problem buster, and the things that are going to move the needle in moving them from suffering from this problem to looking for a solution, to picking my thing as the solution, to taking action with my thing, to create the solution for themselves, and then to having the outcome that they dream of. That's the customer journey. I don't care what people talk about, that right there, that's the customer journey, from pain to pleasure. Now, they can do it the hard way, maybe, or they can do it the easy way with you. Which one do they want? Do they want to, I took a course, a free boot campy thing a couple months ago, and she likened it to, okay, so you live in Florida and you want to go to Vegas, and you have a crappy Pinto. You probably, if you've done anything over in Facebook land, you probably know who I'm talking about now. You have a crappy Pinto, but I have a private jet. I can take you on my private jet. We'll be there in 20 minutes. No big deal. Or you can take your Pinto, which may or may not break down along the way. And it's a beautiful analogy because it's absolutely true. You can take the crappy Pinto, or you can take the private jet. So it's up to them, what level of comfort they have with you so that they can do that and make that choice and really feel comfortable and confident in themselves. It's huge. It really is huge. So I invite you, if you feel like your copy might be a little boring, or if you feel like your funnel is maybe not hitting the way that it should, come talk to me. I have free 30-minute sessions. We will look at your funnel. I will tell you my opinion. We'll go from there. It's a no-brainer. Really, it is. See how I pitched again? It's so easy. When you're comfortable and you're confident in it, and you know that you have the solution, it makes it a no-brainer to be like, I have the solution. Do you want the jet, or do you want to take your Pinto? Totally works. Totally works. So my last little tiny tip here is that you really want to make sure that not only do you know their pain web really bad, or you know how bad their pain web really is, you know how amazing their outcomes can feel. Okay, you have a really good grasp of all of that language that they're using to describe both of those things. And that's going to come down to doing surveys with your ideal clients. You got to go find them, ask them to have a conversation with you. The more conversations you have, the more comfortable you're going to be with knowing what their words are and being able to speak their language. Okay. And then you need to make it interesting. Now, this is something comes back to the boring again. You want to do pattern interrupts. And this is something that I see a lot of times not happening in Pinterest when it comes to people's pins. They're beautiful pins. They're gorgeous pins. They hire these experts maybe, or they do it themselves, or they find these free pin templates, or they get these paid pin templates, and they're beautiful pins. And they're all these gorgeous brand colors, and they're so fantastically created. They're a sea of the same. They're all the same colors. They use the same 10 fonts. They have the same kinds of pictures. Everyone in every niche does this. They all look the same. I encourage my clients to think outside of the box when it comes to Pinterest. And I want you to think outside the box when it comes to all of your marketing. Use pattern interrupts. Now, I am a huge believer. I did an NLP course a bunch of years ago now, and I'm a huge believer that NLP and psychology are the basic cornerstones of things that we have to know in order to sell. And I know you're probably thinking that feels a little slimy and it feels a little icky, but it is truth, okay? Now, we can go along and just try and build relationships and do attraction marketing without using any kind of psychology, but we need to know buyer psychology. Now, this is another fantastic marketing genius who talks about the psychology of marketing. Bushra Azara, I think her last name is Azara. Bushra, I love her. And she talks about, and the other lady was Melissa Ricker, in case you didn't know. She talks about the idea that you have to understand your buyer's psychology. You have to know at a deep level all of the triggers that are going to get your clients to say yes. And if you don't know what those triggers are, you're going to struggle. If you can't articulate them in a way that your client can understand, you're going to struggle. If you are boring and they can't see you for the sea of other people who are just trying their darndest, trying their darndest, just like you, to break through the noise and to be heard, but they're all bland and boring and the same. You need to stand out. You need to stand out for a couple of things. You need to stand out with your branding. It needs to be unique. Now, your basic branding for your website, that can be as boring as shit. You can do all the pastel pinks and grays and whatever's you want. Mine is, but my pins are colorful. I look at, and that's the thing, my pins are colorful. My marketing tools are colorful. They are not branded particularly, and there's a reason for that. Now, I might use my brand colors for fonts and things, maybe. I might try and stick with 4 or 5 different fonts that are kind of feel similar, but I want my pins to be a pattern interrupt. I want my Facebook graphics to smack people in the face. I want people to say, she's different. Her things are different. If you notice all my YouTube thumbnails, I'm making funny faces in every single one of them. I'm going like this. I'm going like, ah! I'm going, Those are on purpose. Those are pattern interrupts. That is getting your attention, because just like every other social media platform, you have a millisecond to catch their attention. If you are just like everyone else, that's not going to happen. It's just not. And that's just human nature. You can't blame people for that. There is so much visual noise going on that you need to interrupt that pattern in order to create something amazing with them, in order to make that connection so that you feel magnetized. You think back briefly, okay? All of the people that you follow, do they look exactly the same as everyone else? Do you feel drawn to pins that are boring and the same as everybody else's? When you look at a Pinterest feed, do you see a wall of blah and then 1 or 2 pins that catch your eye? Do you even read the blah pins? Same with Facebook. When you go on Facebook, do you see and read all of the things? The plain white ones, the plain white text. Does that catch your eye? Or does it catch your eye when the text has the color boxes underneath and it's not the same 4 color boxes that everybody else uses? Does it catch your eye when the picture kind of doesn't match with the text in some way, shape, or form? And you're like, hang on a sec, what's going on with that? Or it's something, somebody making a funny face, or it is some weird thing that you're like, what am I looking at here? And you're like trying to turn your head upside down. You're putting the phone on the wrong way. You're like, I don't even know what this is about. I'm curious. I might need to click on this. It's the same thing. Okay. You want to make sure that you are using pattern interrupts, that you are going against the grain to some extent. Now, it still needs to be pretty. I'm not saying make it ugly. It does still need to feel cohesive. It needs to feel like it was designed by someone other than a drunk 5-year-old. Absolutely. But can it be fun at the same time? Can it stand out at the same time? Absolutely. Now, that is one of my little secrets that I use for my clients, and it works every time. It does. The pins that go viral tend not to be the boring ones that everyone else has. They tend to be the ones that in that feed, they stick out. They're the ones that you're like, what is that? Huh? I have one of my top performing pins has this really, I like abstract. So it's this really bright, bold, pink and yellow and green abstracty swirly thing going on. Looks like an acrylic pour. It's really pretty. But that's one of my top performing pins. I'm talking about hashtags in it. In fact, I've used it for a couple things now because it does so well. But it's this weird picture that is really bright and colorful. It pops on the screen. It looks like nothing else out there because no one else is doing bold. If you're in the spiritual space, everybody's using purples. Everyone is using the same kinds of graphics. Everyone is using the little stardusty things. So what if your pins were your face? And maybe not in a mystical kind of thing, but maybe just your face doing something fun. Maybe you're not doing the prayer pose, quiet thing. Maybe you are being you. Oh, what a concept, right? Being you, being exciting, being interesting, thinking about making them think. That is what makes a great pattern interrupt that causes the click. It's the first step. So I feel like I've given you everything. I don't think I have anything else to talk about in here. I do want you, if you have enjoyed this conversation, do hit that subscribe button below. Do hit the bell to be notified. There is going to be another video pop on here that is probably going to be incredibly helpful in your Pinterest journey. Again, if you do want help with your Pinterest, hit me up either below on the thingies. I've got all kinds of ways to hit me up. So just hit me up, okay? I love to hear from you. I would love to hear from you. Before you go, if you would love for me to do a Pinterest audit of your account, drop the link below and I will do that for you. I don't have any trouble doing that. What I'll do though, if it's okay with you, I would like to do it and have it be here on YouTube, just because, I feel like that could be really helpful for other people as well. If I kind of say, okay, this is what you're doing really well. This is where you're kind of not doing so good. Let's fix it up a little bit. Let's mesh it and make it interesting. If that sounds interesting to you, drop your YouTube link. Gosh almighty, drop your Pinterest link below and we will have some fun with it, okay? Oh, I can't wait. I feel like channel audits are the new thing that nobody's doing, and it sounds interesting to me. I hope it sounds interesting to you too. So now that I've done all of that, I feel like I've given you everything. Have a fantastic day wherever you are. Subscribe, hit that bell to be notified. There's going to be some videos pop up here, so click on one of them if you are interested in following up and finding out more about how to really use Pinterest to supercharge your marketing strategy so you can have the impact and income that you dream of. Have a fantastic day, and we'll talk soon. Bye.